School, St. Martin Secondary School, Regal Road Public School, Michael Power, St. Joseph Catholic High, among others, have come out in droves here to support the home side, the Toronto Rush. An expected 500 or 600 fans in attendance here at Varsity Stadium for a windy affair as they duel with the breeze. We'll stand by as national anthems are just moments away. Our pregame coverage will continue, and we'll have first pull on the other side of the national anthems.
Of the national anthems of the United States and Canada. And now join me in the singing of our national anthem, O Canada. O Canada, our home and native land, through patriot love, in love of man, with glowing hearts we see thee rise. The true, more strong and free, from far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. I welcome you to the Man of Magic.
Once again, we are here at Varsity Stadium for some Week 6 UFA action. The Toronto Rush play host to the DC Breeze as they once again battle the elements with strong winds having their fingerprints all over today's match. Adam Hunt and Theo Wan here to take you through the action. We thank you so much for joining us on UFA TV and on YouTube with CBC Sports. And once again, just moments away from first pull, as we are in the middle of the captains exchanging their pregame pleasantries before it's all business on the field. Head referee Jeff Peters will oversee the action along with the rest of his crew, Michelle Ross, Charlie Fallenbach, and Ian Cassidy. And Theo, not only will we be taking a look at the officials, we'll also be keeping our eye on Jock Nissen of the DC Breeze. Has his hands all over their game plans week in and week out, and so far it's worked out given the stats that he's been able to put up.
One of the top throwers in the league, coming from Brown University, coming off a 5 assists, 1 goal performance in that battle with New York, and continues to be the key driver of their offense. So a lot of it will run through Jock Nissen here today. So keep an eye out for number 24 for DC.
That's 24 for DC. Jock Nissen tied for 9th in total assists this season, and he's got his work cut out for him today with no Christian Boxley, one of the big targets for DC. So we'll see exactly what 24 from DC has to say. As opposed, on the opposing side rather, is a man that has surprised a lot of people and has really pronounced his name in the early goings of the season, Max Petnuzzo.
Max Pepperoni Petnuzzo, a well-known name in the West Coast, coming over here to the eastern side of the country, bringing his talents from the University of Victoria, and he's had a breakout game last week. Over 700 yards, folks. That's right, 700 yards, 5 assists and a goal to put his total to 9 assists and 2 goals on the year. And he's a high-energy player, a very big vibes player, and the team will feed off of that throughout this game.
Absolutely. His 9 assists does lead his side, the Toronto Rush. And as to your point, Theo, a high-energy guy, and so it will take some high-energy defenders from the DC side to neutralize the impact that Petnuzzo has with the disc in his hand.
And they mentioned they're going to have a couple different defenders that may look to lock up Max Petnuzzo here today.
And we'll take a look as well at our keys to the game, taking a look at the DC sideline. Theo, you said be efficient and silence the school night crowd. How do they accomplish these?
Well, first off, their O-line only held at a 58% clip against New York. You have this game against Montreal, which is also important for your playoff lives. So certainly you want to have quicker offensive points if possible, so you can cross over players like A.J. Merriman and Miles Grovic onto the other side. And then in terms of the silence the school night crowd, there's going to be a lot of cheering, especially when there's a big huck or big play going on. They're going to get rejuvenated, this Toronto Rush team. So you really want to silence them by taking them out of the game early.
To your point about A.J. Merriman, 137 points played, leads his team and is third in the UFA as well. So his name will be one that you'll hear plenty of times throughout today's match. And of course, for the Rush as well, foot on the gas and own the skies, Theo.
Now they're currently on their first 3-game winning streak since 2019. So certainly they're hoping to get out to a great start as well. Have to lean into some of this momentum. I know the victories they've gotten are against Philadelphia and Montreal, which are at the bottom of the standings. But this is a key game for them to show the rest of the league, hey, we're here and trying to take this last playoff spot. In terms of owning the skies, they've held their opponents to league third best 50.94 huck percentage. So they want to continue to keep that alive, playing some great help defense off the back and providing strong coverage, especially when they know the disc is going right to left, which will be downwind on your screen for those following at home.
And as we see on the screen now, it'll be DC in the white shirts, moving from right to left, while the Rush in the red will defend from the left side to get things off. At the beginning, DC and their O-line. We've got a deep shot early. Merriman, can he get there in time? He does, just outside of the end zone. But starting quickly are the Breeze. He did have a whistle blown, and Rush will take over possession. Heard disc on the ground from the PA announcer.
I think Merriman may have just turfed the disc, but that was a very odd turnover to start this game.
May have thought he was in the end zone, and so during the celebration, ends up with a turnover. And now our first break chance for this Rush D-line. There's Podnar getting his first touches, making his Rush debut.
That's someone we'll definitely be talking about throughout this game.
A lot of upside for number 0 in red, although unable to connect with Isaiah Massett-Kelly. And now a house call. Podnar in the air, and he snags it, his first block. He credited, but then once again, the pass can't connect, looking for Kamire. Making things happen is Podnar, but can't connect with the rest of his defensive committee. Looking up over, and it's Eric Zwang, his 10th block of the season.
This is a very sloppy start for both sides right now. Not how you want to come out with if you're either team.
Looking in the back of the end zone, Bembanista goes up but has it rejected. This time it's Jacques Nissen. And trading turnovers back and forth. We still don't have a point on the board, Theo.
3 turnovers each. Jacques Nissen giving up a little bit of size, but getting the best of Bembanista. You could see that throw going left to right. It really popped up that upwind side. You could really see it affect that throw there.
Rovic inside for Sean Mott. One of the very best passers in the history of the UFA. His number 81 for the Breeze. Mott once again looking up over the top, and he can't connect. And we'll do it all over again, Theo, going back the other way. Couldn't connect this time with Kobe Lavranes.
They had so much patience going in that direction and just throwing a ill-advised scuba there. This is not the start you drew up.
Up the near sideline, Masek Kelly to Zwang, and now Podnar. Into the end zone, and we finally have our first score of the match. Nathan Shaq. Back in a big way. And after all of that, we finally have a definitive end to that possession. Podnar as well, picking up his first assist. And he'll stay on the field to join the D-line.
Podnar brings a lot of Team Canada experience, number 0 in red. Played for the U24 team that earned bronze in 2025, was also an alternate for the World Games team, was on the senior mixed team back in 2024 in Australia that won a silver medal. So he brings a lot of national team experience and, of course, college experience with UBC, and certainly a player that's well known in the ultimate Frisbee circles.
Ayad's pull goes all the way through the back of the end zone, and the Breeze now working from left to right. Lee connects with Roy, and he looks inside for Lavranes. Merriman now. Lee looking for Wodach, and it was deflected, but Roy was in the area and came down with it. And now looking deep for Merriman. It's deflected and safely scooped. Looked to be Turcotte on the end of it, and A.J. Merriman in some discomfort. He will get off the field under his own power, it looks like. Hopefully for DC side, it's something he can shake off, but immediately checking himself out. Miles Grovic will come in relief and swap in number 37. He'll be checked. Or he will check Podnar.
You can see going that upwind side, that throw popped up at the last second on that throw to Wodach. And whichever team can navigate the wind early and get acclimated is certainly going to come out to a more fast start than what we've seen so far.
Ho unable to connect with Petnuzzo. Wodach looking for Lee, and it looked as though the wind may have had a factor in that one. Rush back the other way.
For them going downwind, I'm surprised they haven't sent a lot of deep defenders right now.
And Petnuzzo completely parallel to the ground, stretches out and keeps the play alive, and then can't connect with Nishizaki.
Throw out a little spice to it there, Adam, and Nishizaki not able to bring it in. A wasted break chance for the Rush. We've seen the Breeze give them multiple chances now, but how many more are they going to give them in this game? And you see it right there, just a stone cold drop.
This time it's Isaac Lee unable to take in the Nissen pass, and the Rush will take over from, I guess you could call the 0-yard line, just the edge of the end zone.
A gift, they say.
We'll see if Petnuzzo can continue to pay it forward with a gift of his own inside, and it's 2-0 Rush to begin with. Petnuzzo and Nishizaki finally combine. Second time's the charm. and it's the second time that the Rush have found the end zone.
Two rookies connecting. You like to see the resilience in Ishizaki there. You had a throw that would have resulted in a break. It goes through your hands. You're able to then bring in this score as DC gives you just an easy end zone reset turnover. And so right now, DC is going to have to solve some things. A lot of their same O-line players going back on the field for a third point in a row, like Nissen and Roy. So certainly, that's going to play a factor. We talked about them being efficient. Right now, that is not the case. And it's good to see Adam that A.J. Merriman is back on the field for DC. He had come off on that last point.
Number 5 for DC, back out there after being in some discomfort, had to check himself out quickly. But back underway, it's Benvenista with the pull, and this one's going to just float in the air thanks to the wind. And DC stuck 2 in the early goings. Can they refine some of the efficiency that has been a calling card for this side all season? Mott inside for Nissen. Nissen to the right as the Breeze creep closer and closer to the end zone, looking inside, fakes it, and Mott can't come down with it. And once again, the wind causing all sorts of miscues for both sides, but so far the scales are tipped towards the Breeze as they're having issues. Swang does well to hit the dirt with 2 hands. Keeps possession for now. As Shea.
Yeah, he can't catch his own pass, so.
As we see 24 in red, just had no choice but to back away and watch it.
If it was tipped, it would have been a different story, but that was not the case.
Mott weighs his options on the near sideline. Looking up inside, it's Shapinski, and the lead has been cut in half. DC finally breaking through. Miscues have plagued both sides in the early going of this first quarter. But now it is just a 1-goal game as DC finally get on the board thanks to the sturdy hands of Theo Shapinski.
Grovic, who just threw the assist, he's really coming to his own for this DC side. And he's going to have to step into a big role here today, playing offense without, as you mentioned, the Christian Boxley not being here. He won't be on this weekend road trip at all for DC. So certainly Grovic, someone else like a Gabe Dowd could really step into those shoes here today.
Toronto Rush, 10th in the league coming into this game in blocks per game with 10.25. Already have 4. And we're not even halfway through the first quarter. Wind could possibly be playing a factor, but at the end of the day, it's what hits the stat sheet if we're talking about blocks, and there's 4 already.
It's like when a hitter in baseball hits a home run off a position player, it counts the same. It's still a home run. So same thing here. Blocks are blocks regardless of the conditions.
Chotha looking deep. Will Petnuzzo get on the end of it? It was tipped, but towards the line, it's brought in. And Petnuzzo once again coming up large for his side, this time connecting with Guggen Chotha.
2 of the 3 big West Coast additions for Toronto linking up for the score, and really unfortunate for Isaac Lee, the product of the University of Maryland, trying to make a play. We often hear the old adage in ultimate catch your D's. I don't think that was possible there. Just the momentum that was carrying him. I think the only choice he had was to try to bat the disc away, but unfortunately not able to bat it far enough out of bounds. And so a clean hold going downwind for Toronto. That was actually the first clean hold of the game so far.
Isaac Lee, 2 blocks on the season, nearly had his 3rd, but the disc had other ideas, and the lead is back up to 2 for the Rush.
There's no 2.5 blocks on the stat sheet, so he won't get credited, you know?
A brief double team on the near sideline, but Roy finds Nissen. He'll get it back from him. Merriman. Dowd inside for Wodach. Wodach goes inside for Gabe Dowd. Checked by Turcotte. And once again, a miscue for the Breeze. Pass sails out of the reach of what looked to be Roy. And now he'll check Nishizaki going back the other direction. Nam Ho now taking a bit of a bump. He'll get some extra yardage for his efforts.
Not a necessary foul there if you're Merriman. Ho was clearly going to get the disc. You weren't going to be able to make a play. Now you've just gifted them yards, but Toronto will give it right back.
Bembanista had a hand on it, but not secured. Merriman looks to be going for a run, but he won't get the service. Mott looking back of the end zone. Roy's wide open with two hands, secures it. And we're back to 3-2. We're back to a one-goal deficit, rather. 3-2 is our new score in the first quarter. Roy coming up large, finds some space. And two hands for security with the wind, causing all sorts of problems for both sides.
Sean Mott, a long time in Philadelphia veteran, 10 years with the squad, now coming over to DC. Has added a big dynamic threat on offense. There's two lefties now in their O-line. So that's certainly going to add a different point of attack. And while that point was going on, Justin Potnar going into the locker room, just saw him take off with one of the trainers. So keep an eye out if number 0, who's making his debut here today, already has an assist, if he steps back on the field.
As you had mentioned, Podnar, a block and an assist in 2 points played. Will that be all for him today? We certainly hope not. As Petnuzzo again coming up with the key play, and Dillon just outside. He'll have to make one more, or reset rather, with Polaz. Polaz drawing the double team, looking back at the end zone. Turner kept it off the floor. And Phil Turner, his first goal of the match, off the assist from Ryan Polaz.
So the last two scores that are holds for DC have come with turnovers, whereas Toronto on the other side, they have not had a turnover with their offense. They've only been out twice, but you see the contrast in how they're handling this wind and the side that they're going. Certainly, I don't expect that to stay the whole game, but just something to keep in mind early on is that Toronto's had 2 clean holds to begin, whereas DC has not.
We'll see just how long that streak stays alive, with the wind continuing to be the MVP, or the least valuable player, rather, in today's match, as drops, blocks, and turnovers are aplenty in this first quarter.
It depends which side you're rooting for, which team is the LVP there. But this stadium is a little bit different than others, where there's pockets of gusts. You can see it in warm-up, especially throws will just suddenly pop up at the last second. So visiting teams definitely have to get used to it.
Grovic fakes and now looks deep. Bembanista's in a foot race, unable to get on the end of it, and it's just going to glide into the end zone. And it's Kobe Lavranes. And we see it right there, the wind playing a factor. Bembanista thought he had a read on it. And just away from the fingertips was the disc, and floats calmly and coolly into the hands of number 26 for the DC Breeze.
2 of the youngsters on this D-line linking up. Maryland to Virginia Tech connection there. And that's what you want if you're DC. You finally get a clean hold. That you stabilize, at least for now. Now just keep an eye on the clock with 3 minutes left, how they play it defensively.
As you mentioned, 3 minutes exactly remain in this first quarter. Toronto 4, DC 3. We're here at Varsity Stadium, week 6. UFA action. We thank you so much for joining us on UFA TV and YouTube, on YouTube with CBC Sports. Adam Hunt and Theo Wan here to take you through the action as the pass is deflected out of the hands of Spencer Dillon, but it looks like contact will be called. The rush will advance the disc and continue their trek towards the end zone. Dillon for Petnuzzo. Petnuzzo has Turner over the middle, but goes with Galan rather. Turner now connecting with Jamison. Jamison has Dillon back of the end zone. Dillon with 2 hands. And the rush once again reclaim Their 2-goal lead, 5-3 sits our score, 2:19 to go in the first quarter.
First UFA assist for Rowan Jameson. So congratulations to him. Last year had 7 goals and 5 the previous year. And finally thrown a helper in the league. So he's got some goal scoring prowess and he's going to show that. He can also dish the disc out a little bit, throwing his first career assist.
7 goals already for the season, and now he can scratch one in to the assist column. Rowan Jameson making things happen in the first quarter. Ayad with the pull. Roy with the reception.
Remember, Toronto's going to get the disc to start this second quarter here.
We'll keep an eye on the clock as we make our merry way towards the 2-minute mark. Now Merriman inside. Pitch and catch with Grovic.
Yeah, you can't leave Grovic unmarked like that. And I know he's taking on downfield, but someone needs to stay on number 37 right now.
Wodach looking for Merriman, and Zwang doing what he can to neutralize that option. And a timeout will be called. Wodach nowhere to go, stall count rising, and the Breeze will take a timeout.
He was locked in a little bit with Merriman there, but he did have someone on the front cone in Grovic who was open, but did not see him and had to call that timeout, which will reset the stall count here.
And we'll take a moment to reset as well. And this timeout is brought to you by Victory. Sprint faster, cut sharper, and recover smarter. Victory insoles and recovery footwear are the ultimate upgrade on and off the field. Learn more about Victory technology and get your pair at VKTRY.com. Victory.com. And Theo, we mentioned it off the top of the show, just how important a victory would be for either side, as this is the only meeting, and if these two teams were to be deadlocked at the end of the regular season, this would be a tiebreaker. With both of the teams certainly seeming to have playoff aspirations, the postseason not out of the question for either side, both sitting pretty middle of the table when we look at the Eastern Division. And the effort will be helped. On that effort, Roy inside for Grovic. And the deficit is cut back to 1. Rush will get the disc back. 1:33 to go in the first quarter. As calm and cool after play was resumed. And the Breeze cut into the deficit again.
They've stabilized a bit now, Adam. Now this is their 4th consecutive hold. They've got 2 clean holds now, so they've started to really tighten things up in terms of their efficiency and how they're attacking right now. There's 1:33, like you mentioned. See a couple of their big, tall players out there, like Gazelle. Keep an eye out for him, because if they're going to try to throw a buzzer beater, he's going to be hovering in the deep space.
Phil Turner always the deep threat when the clock starts trickling down, rather, as Turner himself hits the deck. Keeps possession alive, and Petnuzzo called for the travel, and he'll give up some yardage. But the disc will stay with the Rush. 1 minute, 8 seconds and counting remain in the first quarter. Toronto lead 5-4. Chatha near the far sideline. Petnuzzo checked by Lee. Up the far sideline, it's Gallant trying to move quickly. Good dump off to Polars, but rather he'll find the end zone with Petnuzzo. Marty Gallant finds the cutting Petnuzzo. The Rush find themselves back up 2.
See if we can get another look here. Lee loses a sense of, you can't even see Lee on the screen, but Lee actually was guarding Petnuzzo, turned his head, and immediately Petnuzzo went up line. A little shimmy shake on him. And so now if you're DC, you want to have the last score. Hold on to the disc for the 44 seconds. You don't need to score right away. You certainly don't want to give 10 or 20 seconds to Toronto to run a pull play, get a deep shot. You want to try to neutralize the effect of the quarter break, because Toronto will get the disc in the second half. So let's see how they play it here, going downwind right to left.
Veteran Isaiah Massick-Kelly giving some final instruction before the poll, number 17 in red, made his long-awaited return back to the UFA this season. And now he finds himself trying to close out this quarter without giving up a score. As the Breeze will have 44 seconds to march their way to the Rush end zone. Wind has played a factor. And once again, just as I say it, a miscue for the Breeze, and now the tables have turned. And it's the Rush with 35 seconds to go. Could take their largest lead of the game, 3 goals. Nishizaki drawing the double.
I'm surprised Toronto's not calling a timeout here. Trying to get their O squad on the field.
Bembanista. Bassett Kelly was open near side of the end zone. He had his hand up, and the Wind had other ideas. Floats over the outstretched arm of the big man, Bassett Kelly. 12 seconds. The Breeze will have a chance.
You're giving them plenty of time right now with that turnover. Plenty of time for DC to strike.
It will be with the Wind, so you could get an extra little bit of push on any pass. However, once again, a miscue. And now we will see that timeout you called for earlier, Theo. 5 seconds remain as the Rush are on the doorstep of taking the largest lead of the game.
This would be a huge momentum changer right now to potentially go up 7-4 and have that chance to receive in the second quarter as well.
And of course, our second timeout of the quarter is brought to you by Disket. Fast-paced and competitive, any surface, indoor or out. Disket is round net meets ultimate, and it's the must-have portable game for every UFA fan. Set Disket up in 3 minutes for hours of fun. Get yours at disketgame.com. And the Rush are looking for about 5 seconds worth of fun here to close out the first quarter. Up 2, could make it 3. Polaz will start with Petnuzzo right behind him. We'll have to work quickly. Turner, Chotha, and it looks like Jamison on the far side. As Dylan cuts in, Polaz is going to have to make a decision of where he looks, and he finds Dylan inside. He did have a whistle blown.
Looks like an offensive foul, so they have to go 10 yards the other direction.
Into the Wind. And with time running out, 3 seconds is all Polaz needs. He finds Galan in the end zone. 3 goals stands the margin as the Rush cash in late in the first quarter. Even with the penalty, the Rush stay locked in against the Wind. Polaz usually pretty sturdy with the disc, and we see it again there, Theo.
We mentioned the key to the game was foot on the gas. Do you feel like their foot is on the gas right now?
I think both teams are revving at about 10,000 RPMs right now. Back and forth action. Goals, blocks, turnovers, interceptions. Whatever you want from a Frisbee game, this first quarter has had it. And we'll see just how much it continues as play resumes. 2 seconds to go. Ayad with the pull. And one final puck attempt. This time it was Brandon Lamberty, but the whistle had gone. And so there you have it, folks. First quarter in the books. 7 for Toronto. DC trailing behind with 4. But if the first quarter or the remaining quarters are anything like the first quarter, we're in for a high-scoring, high-octane, fast-paced affair. We'll take a quick look at our stats as we see what stands out to you the most, Theo.
No opportunities for the DC D-line. Toronto has had 4 offensive points and they had 4 clean holds. You can't ask for a better start from this Rush offensive line, and they've taken advantage on the other side with 3 breaks. That's the big one. Turnovers are going to be higher in this game. The wind is a factor. We're going to keep mentioning it. We sound like a broken record, but it is going to continue to plague both sides, and we're seeing which team has more turnovers right now. That's DC.
take a look back at the action in the first quarter. Once again, 7-4 sits our scoreline. Rush lead the Breeze, and it's no secret the wind has played a factor, but both sides have tried their best to contend with it. Second quarter coming up after the break.
Let me know what the new Rush virtual fan zone powered by Yipple. The QR code's up on the screen. We'll leave it up there for a minute for you. If you don't get it on the screen, check out the posters. We'll get it on the concourse level.
Second quarter of action, just moments away. 7-4 sits the scoreline, and while we've talked about the wind, we also need to talk about the fans. An expected 600 in attendance tonight. The annual school day game, including those from the Bloor Collegiate Institute, Huntsville High School, Anderson Collegiate Vocational Institute, Cosburn Middle School, Bill Hogarth Secondary School, Earl Haig Secondary School, Lanner Manor, Carleton Village Sports and Wellness Academy have come out in strong support for their Toronto Rush side. 7-4 sits the scoreline, so it seems to have worked through the opening quarter, Theo.
Are those all the schools? That's a lot of schools out here. Is that everyone in Toronto? It sounds like a lot. I think there's more to come, right?
There is more to come. But if I tried to list them all at once, I'd miss the entire second quarter, which we don't want to do because it's underway now. Toronto receive the pull, and it's Polaz trying to track it down. Toronto in the red shirts moving from the right side of your screen to the left, while DC in the white will defend the left end zone, and if they were to cause a turnover, would head back to the right side. Chatha, stall count rising, finds Turner. Turner contends with his mark and finds Polaz. Polaz is going to look deep. Pettenuzzo's there, and so is Jameson, but it's Micah Wagner going up strong and silences the crowd, at least momentarily, as the Breeze have a chance to cut back into this lead. Leitner looking deep. Turner, he's played D-line in the past, and we see why. Up strong with one hand. Phil Turner, remembering his roots, and comes up with the interception.
Over 100 blocks in your career, and you don't forget how to do that. You don't just suddenly forget it when you shift to the O-line.
We've seen him make plays in both end zones, and now Chatha and Dylan can't get on the same page, and Merriman slipping one inside. It's Xavier Schaefer. And just as quick as the Rush took things back over, DC responds, and it's Merriman and Schaefer connecting. Lead cut back to 2.
Merriman is someone that will play both ways for DC. You've seen him start on the O-line. He starts out here on this defensive point. He's going to get a lot of minutes for this team as well. And so he makes a quick transition play, and they're right back in it. This could have been a potential 4-goal lead, and now it's back down to 2. So certainly that break, they're hoping, rejuvenates this DC side right now.
Big swing, as you mentioned. It's Brandon Lamberty in his pull, sending it straight through the near sideline, and Pettenuzzo looks inside and finds Massett Kelly. He finds Robinson as he surveys the field.
Mostly D-line out there for Toronto, with Pettenuzzo still out on offense.
Kamire inside for Pettenuzzo, and as we mentioned, Phil Turner, you don't forget how to play D-line. Well, for Luke Kamire, he's been a driving force on the D-line this season, and especially on break chances, as the stall count gets the better of Max Pettenuzzo. And the Breeze will look to cut it back to 1. It's floating, but will it stay in bounds? Robinson gets there to remove any doubt. Takes it away from Tanner Gazelle. Kamire urges his cutters to move closer, and they do. Pettenuzzo near sideline.
Robinson went to get the disc and the play had already started. Now he's made himself back onto the field.
Robinson to Petnuzzo now. And receives it once again. Petnuzzo, or Robinson rather, up the near sideline looking for Bembanista. As he does well to evade the garbage can sitting sideline and the long jump pit as well.
Yeah, I don't know if he ran track in high school, but maybe going back to his roots there. Good way to avoid that as DC another break chance. Toronto giving them some gifts right now.
Lee looking deep, but the wind just letting this one hang. Masik Kelly up with a hand and the denial. Now he'll quickly get things going again. Finds Zhuang for Gallant and back to Petnuzzo. Petnuzzo's gonna try to loft this up for Zhuang. Defenders are closing in, and it's scooped with one hand. Gazelle had one knocked away from him in the far end zone, and now in a defensive effort comes up with one of his own.
You can see Zhuang looking for where the defenders were, and that did not help him.
Lee looking deep, and it's Masik Kelly again with the interruption, and it's Shea looking for Kamire. Pass hit the dirt, as did Shea. We'll see if he'll stay in the play, and nope, immediately it'll be Adam Turcotte who will come in relief. Once again, does make his way off under his own power.
Miles Grovic coming in for DC, so you add some offensive firepower with the substitution on the injury. So he's out on the field. He's isolated right now in front of the disc. Kamire is guarding him, looking for help over the top.
Lamberty looking far side. It's Gazelle and Masik Kelly, and this time Gazelle comes down with it. A strong play over a towering defender in Masik Kelly. And the Breeze have cut it to one. What an aerial affair we've had in that far end zone.
You're going downwind, you're open to take that shot, and they do just that. Another big throw from Lamberty. He had some other players open, so was really surprised he went with the crossfield hammer, but he knows his receivers better than we do up here. And they delivered. Right now they're down within one and certainly have made this a game. Toronto now O-line back on the field after their defensive line was on that previous point.
Especially gutsy call with Isaiah Masik Kelly in the area as well. He'd already had 2 disruptions on that point. But third time's the charm for DC. And Gazelle comes down with it. Back to 1 is the lead as Polaz will watch this one sail into his 2 hands. He'll find Chatha. Chatha, does he have Gallant on his zipper? He does. Gallant will have to work hard to get this one inbounds. Gallant can't do it. Sails harmlessly through the near sideline. A connection we saw many times in the early goings of the season, trying to get it moving again. Chatha overthrows with some help from the wind. And now back into the wind. It'll be another jump ball. We've seen it so many times. Tipped, but it's caught by Gazelle. Wagner wasn't in the end zone, but Cooper Kearns is. What a turn of events for DC. Sees Cooper Kearns pick up his first goal in UFA action.
I don't think he can keep the disc, but the Oklahoma Christian product, fresh off a semifinal appearance in the D3 College Championships, he'll be the recipient of this assist. And DC has really woken up. They've taken advantage of some turnovers from Toronto. They had a great pull play called there. Gallant was isolated in space with no help off the back of the stack or anywhere else on the field. But Chatha just overthrew him there, and that throw tailed out of bounds. See how Toronto decides to play it. This is their defensive group now back out, and Nathan Shea is out there after taking an injury sub a couple points ago.
That's 24 in red, far side of your screen. Turcotte to Kamire, and now Masik Kelly. First time we've been tied since 0-0 what has been all gas, no brakes from both sides. Robinson, stall count rising inside for Nishizaki as he looks for options and dumps off for Kamire. Kamire returns the favor. Nishizaki looking for Masek Kelly, and the wind is just going to take this one and biff it 15 yards away from the intended target.
Well, the young throwers out there, you need to put more inside-out edge, especially going upwind. That's going to help the disc level out there. You can see that it outside in into the turf. Not what you want to see if you're a Toronto Rush fan in the audience.
Breeze can't get out of the starting blocks. Look to be Turcotte coming up with the disruption, and Robinson on the pump fake causes a defender to lose his footing. And it's Shag to Masek Kelly, and it's the Rush back on top.
Wasn't the prettiest hole, but it counts the same. So they were able to take advantage of that DC turnover and punch it in. You could see some exacerbation from some of the DC players like Kearns. Kearns actually had a good chance at a block earlier in that point, just missed it, poaching off his check there. But it's going to go Toronto's way as they're back out in front. If you're keeping track at home, DC will get the disc in the third quarter, Toronto in the fourth, as we're kind of near the midway point of the second frame.
6 minutes remain, 8-7 sits the scoreline, and it's Ayad with the pull to restart play. DC once again find themselves trailing. Mott. Marked by Harry Norris and did well to sell the pump fake and find an opening.
Phil Turner out on the field on this defensive point. He's guarding Lovarenis right now.
So the initial play was Wodach looking for Mott. Disc hit the ground. Looked like there could be some contact play.
Looked like Norris might try to be invoking the integrity rule here. So that's when you can reverse a call that benefits you.
As we see, we do have referees on the field. But there also is a gentleman's agreement, or as you call the integrity rule, Theo. Harry Norris straightens things out, and it's Mott taking over again.
A lot of pressure from Ho, but Roy played through it.
And Roy finds Mott. Far sideline for Nissen. Nissen looking for Shapinski as he cuts. Mott now struggling to free himself from the clutches of Harry Norris. Mott. Looking inside, it was Dowd. Then Nissen. Nissen has bodies towards the back of the end zone and finds one. And we're back even. Breeze take care of business. 8-8 sits our scoreline.
You can only hold down a good offense for so long. That was great handler defense from Norris on Nissen, who has a lot more experience than him. Really shut him down, or shut down Mott, I should say, and really forced a lot more throws in the end zone there.
Once again, that roar you hear is the 600 strong that have come out in support, including some from Lenore Manor Middle School, Carleton Village Sports and Wellness Academy, St. Michael's Catholic School, Holy Trinity School. Has some calamity off the opening pull. And DC, after some confusion from the Toronto side, will take over on the doorstep, looking for their first lead of the match.
Final goal, 7 minutes, 3 seconds. Bulldogs from Listen at 7:03.
On the doorstep, Breeze take over. Inside, and the Breeze are in front for the first time today. Billy O'Brien on the reception. His first goal of the match. As the turnover gives the Breeze their first lead.
Participating on the field at halftime. All the participants. The games at halftime. Please make your way down to the railing. You'll see Jim Sam.
We'll take a look at the pole here. Looks like Petnuzzo did touch it as he tried to catch the pole. He did not avoid it, and that's why DC got the disc. A drop pull by Max Petnuzzo.
The call works out in favor of the Breeze, and they find themselves in the driver's seat for the first time today as Polas finds Dillon and gets it back from him. Quickly up for Turner. Turner for Chotha. Toronto in unfamiliar territory in today's match, trailing for the first time. Polas drawing the double team, but smoothly finds the open Petnuzzo. Petnuzzo looking deep. Chotha has to be aware he's got two defenders with him. Chotha deflection, and Jamison nearly had it himself. But it looked to be Micah Wagner with the last say. As the pass sails over the two rush targets.
Just too many defenders in the area for that throw to go up there for Chotha. Chotha known for his high jumping ability back in the day, I'm going to say. He's played a little bit more Frisbee since then.
And Merriman with a stone-cold drop off the dish from Vandenbrink. Petnuzzo for Turner. Turner's got Gallant in the end zone, and Jamison joins him as well, and he threads the needle. There's Phil Turner, the big man, showing some finesse. And we're back tied, 9-9, 3 minutes to go in the second.
Not sure what the mark was doing there because that around flick was very open for Turner. Let's see if we can get another look. Schaefer not really aware where he was forcing it, looked like. I think they were trying to force backhand there, but Turner with the long reach able to fire the flick across. And now we're tied up. There's still a lot of time left for teams to at least have 1 point on O each. But keep an eye out on that clock as it ticks down here.
We'll see if tactics do have a say in just how quickly either side wants to make their way down the field. 2 minutes, 50 seconds remain in this first half. 9-9, deadlocked are the DC Breeze and the Toronto Rush here at Varsity Stadium.
That's one of my favorite TV shows. If you know, you know. He doesn't know.
Deadlocked?
9-9.
9-9, okay. I was going to say, I'd never seen that show. You got to put me on.
Going down to the gap in the railing along the track. Participants in the contest at halftime head down to
Up over the top, and it's Mott. Wide open in the end zone. He's usually the one dishing, but he says, hey, I can score them too. Breeze retake their lead, 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the second quarter. The veteran making his presence known.
Our player to watch, Jacques Nissen, we said at the top that he could make some throws, and we saw a very smooth hammer there to Mott, like you said, normally on the receiving end, or on the throwing end, I should say, but on the receiving end there. He does have double-digit goals in every season but 2024, so certainly he does have some goal-scoring ability, but he's known more for that, for the throws coming from the southpaw. 2:21 left here, Adam, and you see DC going with kind of a standard D-line here. We've seen Merriman have a chance to cross over. Grovic sometimes play some D points, but right now, just a standard D group out here for the Breeze.
2 minutes and change remain in quarter number 2. Rush trailing the Breeze by 1 as Petnuzzo finds Gallant.
He is just so fast as Gallant. There's not many people that can stop him with the foot speed.
It'll be a jump ball looking for Turner, and it's Gazelle with the springs. Squashes any opportunity for Phil Turner to make a play.
DC has a timeout, so if they want to get their O squad in the group, they do have it. See if they do call it if they run into trouble here and get stagnant.
Schaefer for Gazelle. Makes it look easy as he bounces high up into the air to reclaim it. Lee trying to work free.
I would have called it a throw ago. I would have called it a throw ago. They were getting stuck, and I'm not sure why they decided not to call a timeout.
A minute 10 is all the Rush have. But will that be enough? Chatha, stall count rising. Looks inside, finds Turner. Turner with an assist on the last possession, and Gallant tried to go up with one hand and could not secure it. And once again, the Breeze, with this same line going back the other way, fires it up into the air, and it'll be Gazelle and Turner once again. Turner tips, and it finds its way to the turf. Although Wagner was closing quickly, possibly off the deflection, Breeze could have kept it alive. And now we will see a timeout, but this time coming from the Rush. 33 seconds left to go in the second.
I'm really scratching my head right now if I'm a DC fan. You could see the D-line having trouble. The O-line defense was clamping down, and they just did not try to reset things by calling a timeout. Just really surprised there by that decision. Toronto, on the other hand, I'm surprised at their decision because they had their O-line on the field. They decided to call the timeout with 33 seconds left.
Well, I don't know about you, Theo, but I'm having a pretty great time. And you can have a great time every weekend as well. Every game is live anywhere you go. WatchUFA.tv is your home for all the UFA action this season. Watch the Rush, watch the Breeze, watch anybody you'd like on your TV using Roku or Amazon Fire, and stream on mobile with the UFA app. That's WatchUFA.tv, your home for every UFA match this season.
Toronto's put Evan Benvenista on the field, one of their tallest players. I think he's about 6'4", so he could be a threat in the end zone if the stall count or the time gets low here. And DC has put on Merriman, and Grovic is also out on the field for the Breeze. And Merriman's going to draw the Gallant matchup right now.
Stars are out for both sides as the Rush contend with the clock. Nearing the 20-second mark. DC 10, Toronto 9. Just moments to go in the second quarter, and the pass is out of reach of Petnuzzo. And the Breeze will have to work quickly. With 10 seconds to go, I did hear a whistle go. Not sure if Gazelle, Benvenista, Jamison, and Grovic heard it, because they seemed to act as though they thought the play was still live, but a whistle did go. Not sure if there was a clean reset after the disc went out of bounds off the errant pass looking for Petnuzzo. 14 seconds is all the Breeze will have to work. Lee opts to wait on the long ball, and Dillon with two hands bats it down for safety. 3 seconds to go. Chatha looking into the end zone, and it's Lee coming up on the other side of it. It's a collision in the end zone, and it looks like that will be the end of our first half. As we sit, DC trailed for most of the action, but find themselves in front as we head to the break. DC 10, Toronto Rush 9.
That was a very messy end to that second frame there. Chances from both sides. But now the scoreline sits, like you said, 10-9 for DC. They'll get the ball in the third quarter. And you could see the O-line conversion, the break chances change now as we look at the game stats from the, I know it says first quarter, the second quarter there. The first half, I should say. As Toronto now getting break chances and converting, but it's more so DC doing that as they have 4 for 13 now. That was at 0 beforehand.
As we see, O-line conversions sitting at 6 of 17 for the Breeze. D-line conversions, 4 of 13. But at the end of the day, they don't ask how, they just ask how many. 10 goals sit on the scoreboard as they take the lead. And our halftime coverage will continue here on UFA TV and on YouTube with CBC Sports. Thank you so much for joining us as we are in halftime. DC 10, Toronto 9. Our coverage continues after the break.
The Ultimate Frisbee Association is proud to partner with Victory. Elevate your game with Victory insoles and recovery footwear at VKTRY.com. Delta THC Seltzers. No calories, no sugar, no alcohol. Catch life's moments at DrinkDelta.com. Two Town Cider House, bringing the best craft cider for everyday celebration. Find yours at twotownciderhouse.com. And Disc-It. Round Net meets Ultimate. Disc-It is the must-have portable game for every UFA fan. Get yours at discitgame.com.
We are back at U of T Stadium here in Toronto. DC Breeze lead the Rush 10-9 as we are sitting in the middle of halftime as the festivities have continued here for the school day game, or school night match rather. 600 plus students in attendance. And beyond the great crowd, Theo, we've got a great game on the field as well. What stuck out for you for the leading side, the DC Breeze, in that first half of play?
Right now, they stabilized a bit after going down 7-4. Right now, DC has stabilized after going down 7-4. They scored 3 straight. Have they silenced the school night crowd? I would say no, but I think that's a product of all the hoopla that's going on and less so of the play on the field. And their O-line has been a little bit more efficient. They got some more clean holds to end the second quarter. So we see Cooper Kearns, who got that goal. That was a key point for DC there. That's his first of his career in the UFA. And certainly they're looking for more of that here as they get warmed back up. It's a short halftime. And the players for DC electing to stay at field side, whereas the Rush went to the locker room.
And once again, the festivities have continued here in halftime. So we've got a little competition going on. Coach Jamie did say that he would have his eye on this exact competition, see if there's any ringers out there.
He's in the locker room right now.
Well, he'll watch the film, of course, of this halftime competition. And of course, the Rush stay in Toronto for this weekend. Boston Glory in town on Sunday. And of course, you can get your tickets to see it in person at torontorush.com. Or of course, you can continue to watch online at UFA TV and on YouTube with CBC Sports. And as we had mentioned already, 600 strong out for today's match, including students from the Brown Junior Public School, the Bremelia Secondary School, Alexander Muir Gladstone Public School, the Uxbridge Secondary School, Grenoble Junior Public School, Earl Grey Senior Public School, Marc Greneau Collegiate Institute, Georges Vanier Secondary Institute, or Secondary School rather, and we've got the Winston Churchill Collegiate Institute, Lawrence Park Collegiate Institute, St. Mary's Catholic Academy, and to round it all out, we've got the Parksdale Collegiate Institute. One more time from the top, Theo, what do you think?
That's a lot.
600 strong out here to support the Toronto Rush.
That's a lot of students.
And of course, we look ahead on the schedule as well, but also in recent times, Theo, we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, a 3-game win streak for the Rush and trying to make it 4 against an old foe in the DC Breeze. They've had some close games in the past.
Last year was an epic battle. They were down 1. Mark Lloyd gets a huge layout block. They go the other way, and unfortunately a throw skips over Arvids Karklin's, and they were not able to complete the comeback or to tie it. They lost both of those games by 1 there. And so certainly this history has favored this DC side right now.
As we mentioned, Sunday versus Boston, June 13th at home as well, hosting Pittsburgh this time around. And June 19th, the Western road trip all the way out to Oregon.
Oregon and Seattle, so they'll play that West Coast swing. That'll be the first time these programs have met, so certainly will be fun to watch. They get a little bit of a different schedule than, let's say, another Canadian team, Montreal, which only had 1 interdivisional matchup, which was Pittsburgh. Toronto has a lot more interdivisional matchups. They also get Indianapolis at home later on in the season.
Once again, looking in the East Division, the Boston Glory at risk of running away with it, even though we are just nearly approaching the halfway point of the season, and they're here on Sunday, Theo. Based on what you've seen in this first half from the Rush, what kind of fight can we see on Sunday from both sides?
They're going to have to be, the key word is going to be efficiency. They're going to have to be a little bit more efficient with their chances. They've had break opportunities and not able to deliver, at least so far. They've had some short field turnovers, had some drops. Certainly the wind's not going to help with that. It's going to be a little bit different with the afternoon game at 2 o'clock. As we take a look at some of the can't miss games, San Diego, Oakland, that's always a good matchup. And of course, I got my eyes on June 5th, New York Friday Night Frisbee. That's going to be free on YouTube, folks, so check it out. New York taking on Boston, the defending champs. That's June 5th. And then we get more action. Indianapolis, which had a lot of hype, a lot of new recruits joining them, including a Canadian in Kai Creed, for example. And they take on Minnesota. So some great games for you to check out in the league. Of course, we want you to continue staying tuned to this one, Adam. It's been fun so far, and I'm seeing more, not hijinks, but more crowd getting excited. The hoopla is alive and real here at Varsity Stadium.
Absolutely, 600 plus. I'm going to go with the plus, Theo. I think there's a lot more than 600 here this evening. U of T Stadium, Varsity Stadium rather, to cheer on their home side, the Toronto Rush, as they're stuck 1 to the DC Breeze. 10-9 lead for DC, as we are just moments away from getting played back underway. Second half of action still to come, and we thank you so much for joining us on UFA TV and on YouTube with CBC Sports. Adam Hunt and Theo Wan here to take you through the action.
Good news, good noise out of Uxbridge. Thanks to all of you.
Once again, the veteran Isaiah Massakelly, number 17 in red, lending his expertise to his side before play begins. And we will have a penalty carrying over from the first half at the buzzer. There was a penalty called on Marty Gallant, a flagrant, and so that will bump the Rush way back for the first pull of this second half. Benvenista with the disc. Just waiting for the all clear, and he's got it now. Play is underway. Second half of action. Varsity Stadium. DC Breeze 10, Toronto Rush 9. But how much longer will this scoreline stay?
Right now, if you're DC, you just have to have a smooth offensive point. Grovik's out there on the field. He's been playing both ways. See if they can get him involved. He draws the Benvenista matchup, who has a little bit of height on him.
Shapinski. Wodach. Looking for their biggest lead of today's game would be 2, and they've got it. Shapinski off the dish from Gabe Dowd. And the Breeze are up 2 for the first time tonight and have silenced the 600 plus here at Varsity Stadium. A strong statement to begin this second half of play.
2 generations of Michigan Magnum players linking up. Shapinski, a former player for the University of Michigan. Dowd just competed with Michigan at the college championships, Division I. And I think he's showing off the Michigan as well on the wristband, so he knew I was going to bring that up. So 2 Michigan players linking up, and like you said, 2-goal lead right now for DC. Toronto does get the disc back if you are, maybe you're, people score baseball games. I don't know if you can score an ultimate game at home, but if you are, Toronto will get the ball in the 4th quarter.
But now they've got 11 minutes and counting to work in this 3rd quarter and look to cut back into this deficit. Largest deficit of the night for the Rush. It's Polaz. Marked by Schaefer. He finds Dillon. Dillon with the pump fake nearly loses his footing. He'll get called for a travel.
He wanted the foul. He wanted the foul instead, but it's going to go the other way. So a couple calls going against Toronto in recent time.
Petnuzzo. Back of the end zone. Finds the open Turner. Turner dishes for Chotha. Chotha thought about the shot with Gallant. Opts to connect with Turner, who finds Petnuzzo. Turner with 2 hands and finds Chotha. Dillon's in the area, as is Jamison. Watched by Merriman as he finds Petnuzzo. Petnuzzo to the Gallant. Chotha weighs his options. Has to connect with Polaz, but gets it right back as Polaz and Chotha go pitch and catch.
Toronto's not really able to find things downfield. It's great hand cutter defense. They're going to have to throw up a janky throw like that.
Jamison inside for Dillon. And the lead is cut back to 1. And the crowd is alive again. As you mentioned, a wild throw was forced. But Jamison with 2 hands secures it and hits Dillon in stride. And the deficit's back to 1.
And that's the dynamic throwing style and play that Max Pepperoni Petnuzzo brings to this team. Speaking of West Coast players, see if you can see him on the sideline in the hoodie right now, but Justin Podnar, we were excited for his debut. He's played a couple points early, came off. We talked about how he went to the locker room. He has not played since. So a big loss for Toronto. Now they're down to 19 players.
As you mentioned, Podnar just 3 points played, but in those had an assist and a block. So a big loss, not only with the roster spot, but the impact that Podnar brings to the Rush side. We'll see what that means for the rest of this weekend of action. As we mentioned at halftime, Glory are in town on Sunday as Mott finds the space past the defenses.
Hey, he's turning back time right now as a receiver, making some sweet plays for DC, and High Stall has to call a timeout early in the 3rd. Only 1 timeout left now in the half for DC, so they're gonna have to be very strategic with how they initiate these breaks moving forward. There's 9:13 left, and they have a whole 4th quarter as well.
As you mentioned, Mott been turning back the clock, but you don't want to turn it back too far if you're going to buy a Mott jersey in his first year with the DC Breeze. You can have any name, any number, and any team. Get your custom Sean Mott or Toronto Rush or DC Breeze jersey by B Ultimate, starting at only $55 in the UFA shop. Plus, grab the latest Pro Frisbee designs and UFA gear, all at shopufa.com. As you mentioned, Theo, already burning a timeout are the DC Breeze. 9 minutes to go in the 3rd. A 1-score lead for the visitors. As you know, we mentioned early on, the wind has played a factor, and it has. And now I'm a huge believer in the commentator's curse, Theo, but I'm going to put us in danger of it right now. I do believe the wind has died down for the moment. Not nearly as prevalent as it was at the beginning of the match. Still there, don't get me wrong.
And still going right to left on your screen as well. So this is the downwind side for DC as they're scoring on.
And scoring they do. Breeze quickly and efficiently bump their lead back up to 2. And with the wind at their back, DC find themselves back up by 2 as we're taking another look at the goal. This time looks to be Laveranes rather, off the dish from Gabe Dowd. Second goal of the match for number 26 in white.
14 goals a season ago for the Virginia Tech product, and nice to see DC. They can draw from a few different areas, and they're certainly benefiting from the top college talent that lives around the DC area.
Laveranes and Shapinski are leading the way into the end zone for the Breeze, 2 goals apiece as their lead is back to 2. Gagan Chatha and the Toronto Rush will do what they can to bite back into it as he finds Turner on the dish. Turner looking far side. Gallant's got wheels and he's got spring to boot. Able to get a foot down inbounds. Tiptoeing along the sideline. Now he finds Dillon. Dillon inside finds Jamison. And we're back to a 1-score game.
A reversal of what we just saw in the previous Toronto offensive point. Dillon now throwing the assist, getting his first of the game. And that was actually a great play from Gallant there. Being aware of the line, also his defender on his back as well.
8.5 minutes to go. DC 12, Toronto 11. Both teams hovering around that third and final playoff spot in the Eastern Division. Toronto came into this match in third, DC trailing, but could leapfrog if this result stays.
DC's 8-0. That's the series, at least most recently, since the last Rush victory, which was all the way back in July 20th of 2019. So a long time ago. That was in the playoffs where Toronto knocked down DC. But since then, it's been all Breeze in this matchup.
As you mentioned, 2 close games, 2 1-score games last season. As Merriman looking deep, it's Grovic, the target, but it's Massick Kelly with the breakup, but he can't connect with Kamire.
That happened a couple times in the first half as well for Toronto, and certainly you can't have that. You're giving DC multiple chances with their dynamic O-line. You can't do it.
Calmly and coolly, it's Shapinski with his third of the match off the dish from Jacques Nissen. Back up to 2 is the lead. 7:50 to go in the third. Massick Kelly did well on the breakup, but missed his connection with Luke Kamire, and the Breeze take full advantage.
Grovic back out there for this DC D line. See if he can make a play for them as they look to extend this advantage. So he's been playing a bit of both ways, and he's going to get a lot of mileage, same thing with Merriman down the stretch here. Both of them and Merriman have already played 11 points so far.
The wind reminding everyone that it is still here, as that pole just hovered in air and dropped in a very favorable spot for the Rush, as it's Jamison now far sideline. Petnuzzo trying to get free, bit of contact, no whistle blown. Chatha tips toes.
Some good handler D from DC, making things very difficult.
Petnuzzo looking inside. Chotha had 3 or 4 different attempts at it, but unable to secure it. And the Breeze now with a chance to take their biggest lead, or retake their biggest lead rather, looking deep. It's Gazelle able to make the grab and diving out. Number 18 for the Breeze, it's Kevin Healy, his first trip into the end zone. And the Breeze looking to run away with it now, up 3.
That was a huge upwind throw by Miles Grovick, able to adjust to the wind and make this big play. And then you got 2 tall stallions, I'm going to call them, and Gazelle and Healy. Gazelle made that much more difficult than it had to be for Healy. Healy diving in. We see the on-site MC here trying to fire up the crowd. I think it's for some free prizes, but hopefully those cheers try to inject some life in this Toronto Rush offense right now.
Carrying themselves over as we take a look at the Raven crowd here at Varsity Stadium as Owen Robinson connects with Noah Nishizaki. No, he doesn't. A wide open pass dropped by number 2 on the rush, and it's Schaefer trying to get back, and it didn't look as though he was completely outside of the end zone before he restarted play. The officials will have a conversation about what exactly the issue was.
I think DC will still get it on the goal line here. I do not think they're going to have a yardage penalty. It's going to go back in the hands of Xavier Schaefer.
Schaefer looking for his options, back of the end zone, and it's Nishizaki breaking up the dish, looking for Brandon Lamberty in the back of the end zone. Massett Kelly near sideline. He'll look up for Bembanista. He'll have to make a play, and he does. Evan Bembanista lays out and comes up with it.
Stall count's rising. And he had to take a timeout. He had no options there. And I really like the holster from Bembanista, Adam, because a lot of times what will happen is a player will make a big play like that, and they'll just throw it away because their adrenaline is running high. He decided not to hit Shea on a slash cut. He elected to hold on to the disc for a bit to reset, and now his O group can come on the field after that timeout. 1 timeout remaining for each side.
Both teams battling out in this midseason battle, hoping to help their case towards charging on to the 2026 UFA Championship Weekend, which returns to Madison, Wisconsin on Thursday and Friday, August 27th and 28th. The greatest weekend in Ultimate includes the WUL and PUL All-Star Game, fan events, giveaways, and more. Weekend passes and VIP tickets are on sale at watchufa.com. Pola's on the doorstep with the rush. Cutters littered throughout the end zone, trying to get it back to a 2-score game.
Vandenbrink, we haven't said his name very often, but he's going to draw the Gallant assignment right now, isolated at the front of the stack. A lot of rush players otherwise in the corners. Looks like DC trying to help off of it as well with Lamberty. He's marking Petnuzzo right now, but he's trying to maybe guide or assist with Vandenbrink on Gallant.
Number 19 in white, Lamberty looking for coverage. We seem to have some confusion on both sidelines about what exactly happened on the timeout call for the rush.
Off the board, fans. There's no timeout for the Toronto Rush. Contact was the call on the field against the DC Breeze. So the Rush will have the disc.
The timeout's taken off the board, so Toronto has not called the timeout. There was contact. So all the players that were on the field have to be back out there.
Frisbee.
But Bembanista's coming off the field, so now I'm going to call myself confused.
Nishizaki for Petnuzzo. Looking inside, Masik Kelly just a foot away from the end zone, and a quick dish to Petnuzzo. The lead's back to 2. Masik Kelly connecting with Petnuzzo. Take another look at the replay. The veteran in Masik Kelly to the newcomer, Petnuzzo, and the lead is cut back to 2. Just under 6 minutes remain in the third quarter.
Petnuzzo, our player to watch to begin this game, and certainly he's trying to climb to that 700-yard plus total that he had in the previous matchup against Montreal. He's already at over 400 yards right now. What I like about this night game is now sun is not a factor, because it was hard for the fans to see. I'm sure the players as well, with the sun peering through.
There were some big shadows on the field to begin play. They're all gone now as the lights come on here at Varsity Stadium. Crowd making itself known as a block from Logan Keeler. Gives the disc back to the rush, and it's Luke Kamire drawing the double. Has to go all the way back to Nishizaki. Giving up ground, but keeping possession. Ayad looking deep. Harry Norris unchecked. 2 hands for safety. And the lead's back to 1. Max Ayad to Harry Norris. And the Rush find themselves stuck 1 in the third quarter. 5 minutes to go.
That's what Ayad can add to your defensive group. He is a gunslinger. He's slotted on the D-line, can make some big plays on that side of the disc. And he's not a stranger to the UFA. Played for Montreal back in 2023 and then came up and got his start in Ottawa in 2022. So he is back out there, is a main puller for their D-line and will remain on the field. So no real O-line crossovers from Toronto as they try to continue to dent this lead and try to tie up this matchup with 5:07 left in the third.
Norris, third goal of the season off of Ayad's first assist of the year. And the lead's back down to 1. As the Breeze take over, looking to bolster their lead once again.
It's hard for the D-line players to get stats, folks. You don't get that many chances, so you can't always measure the impact of these D-line players based on stats. If you're facing a good O-line, you're only going to get a few chances a game to rack up on the stat sheet.
Mott can't connect with Dowd. It's a drop, and the Rush have a chance to draw back even. Mixed bag out there on the field for the Rush. Looking deep, it's Norris. Does well to toe touch. Keeler and Norris now going back and forth. Got Nishizaki and Ayad. And now we will have an official timeout.
I think this is an actual timeout now here, Adam. I don't think this was the fake timeout we saw earlier. So this is a full timeout where teams can sub in players. So I suspect Toronto will run their O-line grouping out on the field.
A lot of mileage on the Toronto O-line. We've seen Chatha, Turner, Gallant, Petnuzzo all over the place in today's match, and so they'll certainly be appreciating the fact that you can sprint faster, cut sharper, and recover smarter. Victory insoles and recovery footwear are the ultimate upgrade on and off the field. Learn more about Victory technology and get your pair at vktry.com. Victory.com.
Vanden Brink going to draw the Gallant matchup once again, isolated at the top of the stack.
4 minutes and 10 seconds remain in the third quarter as the crowd pushes on, trying to urge their side to back even, and an unforced error right off the restart. Polaz and Gallant can't connect, and now it's Gazelle making his way as the breeze flying down the field.
This is their D squad right now. You wouldn't know it by how fast they're moving.
Like possibly a call for some contact or some interference off ball. Wagner looking inside. And the Breeze put their lead back up to 2. This time, it's Luke Rafus. And just as quick as it could have been tied, the Breeze are back up 2 as they stormed down the field off the unforced error following the timeout.
There's still a lot of game left here, Adam, but I'm going to say that is a big potential turning point. Like you said, you had the timeout, you put your O group on, you're in the end zone, you have Gallant isolated, ready to make a play with his speed, and you have an unforced turnover, and DC goes the other way with their D group with relative ease, I might add, and build their advantage back up to 2. Certainly not the game, but could be a driving factor moving forward.
Big moment as we see the swing. What could have been tied is now a 2-score difference as the Breeze, off the unforced error, storm down the field and retake their 2-point lead. And now Chatha sees it go in and out of his hands off the feed from Petnuzzo, and Lee looking for options. Dishes back to Lamberty.
Gallant was open in the deep space as well. If Chatha actually made that grab, they would have had a free huck and most likely a score. Now their offense line really has to ratchet it down here. A pick will send this back 10 yards. DC will keep possession though with Isaac Lee. Lee, their D-line quarterback here.
Unable to connect. This time it was Cooper Kearns with the drop. The rush take back over. Petnuzzo looking deep for Dillon. Had to dive out to claim it. And Polaz now look to have Jamison for a brief window. Goes back to Turner. Turner looking far side for Gallant. Merriman was in the area, but the throw was off anyway. Lee takes it back as we start to see some of the pace that we saw to open the game. Moving fast are both sides off of turnovers. Merriman for Lee. Lee takes the bump and stays on his course, shrugging off Phil Turner. And now Merriman, the wind will take hold of that disc as it floated into the air. And Lee and Turner combine, or collide rather. And that will be the call on the field. Wind got a hold of it, kept it up in the air, and Turner mistimed his jump and collided with Lee.
You can see the disgust of Jamison after that play because that is a free gift to DC. It's going to go right to the front of the end zone here. A great chance for the Breeze.
Lee on the pump fake finds its way to Leitner. Number 10, Josh Leitner, cashes in and puts it back to 3, his first UFA goal.
Congratulations to the rookie from George Mason collecting his first goal. We have seen some different milestones here today. Cooper Kearns for DC as well, getting on the stat sheet for the first time in his first game. So now 152. If you're Toronto, you see Jamie Millage right now talking to Jeff Peters, not happy with the calls right now. But either way, it's a 3-point DC lead with Toronto back on 0. I don't think they're going to be able to bleed out this clock for 152. Maybe they can, but you don't want to give this O-line too much opportunity to end the third quarter with another score. We've already said this earlier, but Toronto will get the disc in the fourth, so they have a chance to reduce this lead heading in, or once it's the fourth.
Lamberty with the pull all the way back through the sideline of the end zone, and Robinson has to go for a trot before we can restart play. O'Brien on the mark. But Robinson finds Petnuzzo no problem.
Contact is called against DC Breeze.
The contact call will bring the Rush
Goal line for Toronto.
to their own goal line, and Kamire, with the bottom of his fingers touching the turf, scoops it and keeps it alive.
Some of the DC silent definitely thought that was down there.
Petnuzzo looking deep. Kamire has to track back thanks to the wind, and calmly and coolly finds Shea on the rush. Or on the move, rather, and the Rush
You can say on the
are
rush.
back.
You can say on the
Stuck
rush.
two. The Rush are rushing as there's a minute left in the third, and they're finding themselves back on defense.
Shea waving to the crowd here. He's got assist 2 goals for the D-line. Their D-line just out there on offense. And we're going to see another look at this throw from Petnuzzo. Let's slow it, see how slow we can get it here. This is Komira trying to make the play. Great job from our production team right now. And it clearly hits the turf. You can clearly see it hits the turf before it hits the hands of Komire. So DC, if they watch this film back, they are not going to be happy because Toronto got away with them right there. So you talk about late game tactics here, Adam. A minute left. See if you can bleed a lot of this clock, because they're going to have to start at the back of their end zone right now. Don't give Toronto another O chance.
And they do right there. Pass off the mark. Looked to be maybe Shapinski, the intended target. Wind keeping that one up in the air. Ayad throws another, looking for Norris. What a grab from Harry Norris. More airtime than was intended off the pass from Ayad, but the stall count rising, and once again the wind rearing its ugly head. A chance for Keeler. And now it's Jock Nissen going back the other way.
Once he turned around, he was going upwind. I don't think he realized that, didn't put enough spin on it, because he was looking for his reset, was Norris.
Mott to Shapinski. Shapinski looking for Nissen. Now 2 defenders collide. It's Ayad and maybe Turcotte.
Yeah, that was friendly fire. That was 2 teammates that hit each other.
It's Adam Turcotte, number 92 in red. Took the worst of it. Colliding full speed with Max Ayad. Ayad, an anchor on the defensive side of things, and Turcotte slotted into the lineup today. Has made his mark on today's match as well.
Isaiah Massett-Kelly coming in for Toronto. Grovic is also going to be on the field for DC now. Get another look at it. Nissen was just trying to make a play. It's 2 teammates hitting each other in Ayad and Turcotte. Only 15 seconds left in this third. Can DC cash in here?
DC's disc knocking on the door of the end zone. That's the man you want with the disc. It's Nissen in the end zone for Shapinski. 9 seconds is all that remains in the third, and DC's lead is back up to 3. Jock Nissen coming through in the big moments for DC.
You can see Shapinski trying to move his face away, because that was the zippiest of throws. You saw the one previous to Nissen actually pop up, and he had to rise up to make it happen. So he understood the wind and just zipped that one right into the hands of Shapinski, who's having a great game right now. Over 100 yards receiving and 4 goals, all smiles for Shapinski. And now this D group with Merriman and Grovic, who else but those 2 playing extra minutes here, trying to hold off Toronto off the scoreboard for 9 clicks.
Nine seconds off the restart. Merriman's pole clears the end zone as the Rush trying to get things back underway quickly, but that sailed well past even the football end zone, all the way past 8 lanes of the track. The game is stopped dead in its tracks. For the moment, it'll be Pettenuzzo at the back of the end zone. Polas to his right, finds him. As the time ticks away, 6 seconds. No urgency from the rush. And it looks like they won't test the heavy wind. And we'll go into the quarter break. DC 17, Toronto 14. 3 goals ties the largest lead for DC tonight. Had it on a few different occasions as the Rush have tried to claw and scratch their way back in to this match.
Bit of an anticlimactic finish there, but what's been the key for DC is they've tested the win a lot better and shown that prowess. 7 for 14 on Hucks is a key stat for them, as well as upping their breaks, getting a few there in the third quarter.
And now we'll take a look back at some of the action in that third quarter.
Shapinsky showing off the Michigan colors there. And we saw plays and teams actually scoring on both sides of the field. And certainly having players like Healy and Gazelle making plays is going to help you. Healy bailing out Gazelle on that throw.
Gazelle certainly shown some aerial prowess. He's drawn the Phil Turner assignment on multiple occasions. Has done well to slow up the big man on this Toronto O-line. As just 1 quarter remains, 17-14 sits our scoreline.
A tale of two sides. You see DC kind of hanging out watching the mini disc toss now. Toronto on the other side all huddled up. I don't want to say all business, but I think they're feeling the pressure a little bit here. You see how calm DC looks. Look at their body language compared to Toronto's.
12 minutes remain for the Rush to come back in today's match. As you mentioned it earlier on, Theo, that the Rush will start the fourth quarter with possession. O-line out for the Rush. And will they have an answer? Will have to be efficient. No urgency as of yet, with the full 12 minutes remaining of the fourth quarter.
We saw last-minute hijinks last time they played here at this exact stadium. Toronto hoping for a potentially different result. They're going to have to come back from 3 down here to make it happen. And that 0-8 streak could go to 0-9 if the scoreline remained the same here. And I wonder, for a lot of those players, they would have never played in those games. This is a very young squad. So I wonder if it's even registered in their minds, but certainly those who were on the team last year are thinking about that close call they had last season. Twice they lost by 1 to this DC team.
3 sits the margin right now. Inside, miscue for Jamison. Couldn't corral it.
This could be a real dagger here. It's early in the fourth, but down up 4, that'd be big.
And make it 4. It's Merriman inside. Look to be Gazelle on the receiving end, or Healy rather, excuse me. Number 18 for the DC Breeze, his second of the match.
Hey, they both play a similar role. Tall, deep defenders. And Healy's going to be the one receiving it from Merriman, who started on that defensive point. And what else is there to say about AJ Merriman right now? He's been making plays all over the field, playing both ways, like I said. He's had multiple UFA accolades, including being named to the All-Defense second team back in 2023. Also burst onto the scene in 2021 as well. Or getting more awards, I should say, in 2021. As he does not going to be on the field. Neither is Grovic, so more of a standard D-line for the Breeze. As the D-line offense out here for Toronto.
Robinson takes the dish from Bembanista and takes it back and finds Kamire. Kamire to the Turcotte. Looking up for Masakeli, and again, a drop halts any and all progress the Rush may have had. Lamberty looking inside. Now it's Leitner. Back of the end zone, wide open, and the margin is now 5. The Rush are in deep trouble if they can't find some answers, because the Breeze are running roughshod all over this fourth quarter. This time, it's Micah Wagner unchecked in the back of the end zone. Back-to-back possession started with a drop for the Rush and cashed in by the Breeze.
We talked about the key to the game here is we get another look at that Vanden Brink, who's now getting involved, the rookie all the way from the Netherlands, finding Wagner, 2 young stars or budding stars for this team. And we talked about silencing the school night crowd. I certainly hear that right now. I don't really hear them. I hear DC getting excited, and I see breaks continue to add up for the Breeze. Right now, if you're Toronto, you just need one high-energy play, big sky from Petnuzzo or something to get things going here, because right now, the body language and the energy in this stadium is very deflated for them.
Not the start that the Rush were after in this fourth quarter. Petnuzzo, what a play made by number 33, Marty Gallant.
Yeah, this is a little mishmash. You've called that before during this game. This is a complement of some O-line players with some D-line studs as well.
Nam Ho takes the dish right on the U of T logo. And now it's Gallant. Gallant looking for Nishizaki, just out of his reach. The outstretched fingers weren't far enough. And the Rush once again turn it over. And will we see the third consecutive break for the Breeze to open the fourth quarter? Lee with Schaefer. Schaefer looking for a window. Now it's Vanden Brink. Vanden Brink for Lee. Wind had a say momentarily.
They're going upwind. You could really see that disc flutter for Vanden Brink, and even on that release of the throw, never had a shot.
Dillon trying to get things back underway as quickly as possible as time ticks away. 9.5 remain in the fourth. Rush stuck 5.
Yeah, if you're DC, you're okay with this. You're okay with the time that's coming off the clock. That wasn't the best throw from Vanden Brink, but you're okay with them having to dish it back and forth in the midfield space.
And now, Gallant was open, found some space away from number 99, Isaac Lee, and the wind just completely torpedoes that one over his head.
Teams immediately following the game. And then make sure you get your tickets. Be right back here Sunday at 2 p.m. when the Boston Glory take to the field.
Breeze. Go ahead, Leo.
Apologies. One of their other strong defenders, Charlie McCutcheon, not on this road trip. So there's a few people that they don't have on this team right now, and they're still able to hold the lead that they have against Toronto.
Mott misfires, and Polaz quickly cashes in as finally, after nearly 4 minutes of play, the Rush have their first score of the fourth quarter.
Certainly this game does not extinguish the playoff hopes of either team, but it could go a long way. You've mentioned already, Adam, the tiebreaker situation. This is the only time these two teams play. So DC, if they were to finish with the same record Toronto, they would be above them in the standings. And of course, Toronto, there's no rest because they got Boston coming up, and that's on Sunday. 2 o'clock start, is that correct?
Don't quote me, but I believe so.
And that, I bring that up, the 2 o'clock start, because the sun will be coming down the whole time, whereas we got shadows and a different type of style of Ultimate here with the wind. It's nighttime. It's certainly going to be very different on Sunday, and that's something the throwers on Toronto will have to adjust to.
Back-to-back home games where the Rush find themselves battling the elements. We had a rain delay in the middle of the fourth quarter in their home opener against the Montreal Royale, although the Rush did come out on the other side of that with the victory. And now, the wind rearing its head on multiple occasions through all 4 quarters of action. But the Breeze have coped with it the best as they're up 19-15.
DC has Montreal tomorrow at 6 p.m., so they got to drive over or at least head towards that direction tonight and get some rest before they take on a Montreal team looking to get back in the win column.
And once again, we see it. Throw off the mark. Looking for Merriman. The wind is picked up again in the fourth quarter, causing all types of problems in the end zone. The left end zone for those of us.
I would say both end zones they've had trouble. It seems like they're gusts that pop up at just the worst time for some of these throws. But if you're DC, hey, there was a lot of time taken off that clock there.
Bambanista looking for Zwang. It's deflected.
You got to run through the disc.
Now it's Roy. Back to Merriman. Merriman had Grovic open momentarily. It's Mott. Now finds the open Miles Grovic, number 37, cashing in. And DC up to 20 on the scoreboard. Rush trailing behind 15. Sits their line, and we have just under 7 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. It's go time if you are the Rush, and it's lock things down if you're the Breeze.
Grovic, 2 assists, 2 goals in this game so far. He was a 2026 Callahan finalist in college, which for those that don't know is like the Heisman Trophy of college ultimate. So he helped Maryland along with Isaac Lee get to the pre-quarterfinal round last weekend of college nationals. So a lot of these college players, they do a lot. They're playing for their college team and they're also playing pro ultimate here as well. So no rest for Grovic. Lee, and Dowd was also there with the University of Michigan.
Once again, we've seen Turcotte a few times since his collision. And now a quick scoop. It looked to be Gazelle taking it out of the hands of Phil Turner, but a whistle blown. And the Rush will get the disc back.
Chop is the call on the field against DC. That'll back them up 10 yards. DC goal scored by.
And so the Rush will trek a few yards extra down the field. 6.5 remain. 5 is the deficit for the Rush. Petnuzzo for Gallant. Gallant weighs his options, goes inside for Polas. Petnuzzo. Gallant. Turner to his left. But opts to shift for Petnuzzo, who hits the dirt and scoops with the right hand, but they're going to call that one hit the turf before Petnuzzo was able to reel it in.
Remember earlier, Toronto thought DC thought they had a turnover, but it was ruled up even though it was down. So we'd love to see another replay of that, as it looks like Phil Turner is hurt there for Toronto.
Holding his left shoulder. Did see him in the pregame. It was heavily taped and was getting lots of treatment on that left shoulder, and it seems to have flared up again at the worst possible time. 5.5 remain. Rush stuck 5.
Grovic is back on for DC.
Merriman does well to reclaim that from the turf monster. Now he goes up over the top for Leitner. Leitner for Rafis. Rafis to Merriman. And calm and cool into the end zone. He finds Josh Leitner. 6 points. And the Breeze look to be running away with it. It's A.J. Merriman under some duress, some discomfort, and we saw him aggravate what looked to be maybe an ankle or a knee in one of the first points of the game. Now we see late in the fourth, immediately hobbles to the training table behind the Rush bench, so can't even make it all the way back to his own sideline. Phil Turner and A.J. Merriman both sitting on the training table. 2 big injuries for these sides if they were to carry through this match.
We already saw Justin Pontner out for Toronto. We already mentioned that Merriman and this DC side will have to take on Montreal tomorrow. So Toronto at least gets an off day Saturday before playing on Sunday. DC does not get that chance.
So again, as we mentioned, Rush, their weekend is not done. Following final whistle of this game, Boston Glory are in town Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. You can watch that here in person, of course, or
Get your tickets
on UFA TV or on YouTube with CBC Sports.
Watch the defending champs in person. That's all I got to say.
Robinson for Benvenista. Disc sails right over the head of Masset Kelly. Wind causing issues again. 6 is the lead for the Breeze. Wagner drawing the double team. Stall count rising. Dishes off calmly for Lamberty. Lamberty up over the top. It's Rafus. Will he win the battle with the wind? He will not. It'll sail up and over his head. Harry Norris was there in defensive coverage. Rafus did have a step, but the disc did not cooperate.
It's not the first time we've seen that disc tail to the left side of that end zone.
Now Masset Kelly looking up the sideline for Norris. Norris has a man but can't get it to him. Now he collides. But it'll be DC who pick up the whistle.
That bailed out Norris because he did not have a throw there. He had an open receiver. The double team really stopped him. And we're seeing him get bumped again. This is just extracurricular activities right now from O'Brien. O'Brien playing his college ultimate at Florida.
Billy O'Brien has battled in the trenches on the D-line side all night. And we see him causing problems for a fellow number 22 wearer in Harry Norris.
Is that 22 on 22 crime? That's what
That is. That won't make the headlines.
DC's run will, though.
4 goals in this fourth quarter for the Breeze, just 1 coming from the rush. Robinson, his pass, can't connect. 3 minutes remain. DC back with possession. It could be all over but the crying as the Breeze look deep. Running under it is Wagner looking for it. Benvenista was there.
And he's hurt too. He made a great effort to try to even catch that. I thought from the release that wasn't going to reach him, but great effort from the youngster.
So we just have a pause in the action due to the injury, or the discomfort rather, of Wagner. He'll make his way under his own power to the sidelines, and as we mentioned, we've seen the injury bug show up on multiple occasions. Justin Podnar checked out early. Phil Turner with his injured shoulder. AJ Merriman still has not made his way past the Toronto bench. And now it looks like Micah Wagner collecting himself, holding his right hand. Could be a wrist or a hand injury. Unsure as Petnuzzo fires one up over the top. Benvenista's going to have to run underneath it, and he scoops it with one hand. And some life finally from the rush side. Their second goal of the fourth quarter. 2 minutes, 37 remain.
Big silly from Benvenista, but you're down 5, so you got to go to work now if you're Toronto. I know you caught the goal, but they're going to have to go to work here. Can they chip into this lead? The often adage is crazier things have happened, and certainly Toronto's hoping for that.
We saw DC already this season steal one at the death from the New York Empire, but the score was a lot closer than this. As we come into the final few minutes of the fourth quarter. It's now or never for the Rush, and for the Breeze, you just want another clean possession. A hold would be the nail in the coffin of what is already steadily in hand 5-goal lead, 2 minutes 20 remain, and it's Mott with a collision with Guggen Chatha. And Sean Mott was, I believe, called for a stall count.
Okay, stalls the call against the DC.
And the Rush get a gift. Right.
Frisbee right on the goal line.
They have Pet Nuzzo on the field, who they want as their pivot person.
And he finds Eric Zwang. We're used to calling his name when it comes to blocks. And now we see a goal. Ricky has cut it back to 4.
Running the super flag up and down the track they go.
So you're saying there's a chance, Theo?
That's certainly what Rush fans, wherever they're watching, are hoping for. It's going to be the same O-line for DC for the most part. I think Shapinski's coming off here, but Xavier Maxstat, the only one of the DC coaching staff here. There are other members, Chris Selwood and Jace Dean, not in attendance. So we asked before the game how that's going to change things, and he just said, hey, it's going to empower the players to be able to do what they do best and to take into some leadership roles as well.
Massive possession for the Breeze. Up 4, 2:05 remain. Fourth quarter of action here at Varsity Stadium. Adam Hunt and Theo Wan guiding you through the action here on UFA TV and on YouTube with CBC Sports. Max Iad with the pull, but a whistle blows right away. We'll see if it was offside called or if Iad, his foot just trips the line on the pull. Looks like the 50-yard line. Or 55-yard line, rather. Midfield for the Breeze. Grovic working quickly. Finds its way to Dowd. And now back to Nissen. Now Mott.
Good handler D there.
Has to throw one up, but it's Jacques Nissen up strong with one hand, and we know just what type of defensive force that Eric Zwang is. So a good play for number 24, and then we see him return the favor. Iad thought about going deep. Dishes off for Chatha. Now it's a battle with the clock. Chatha looking for Zwang. Zwang, will he try to dish it back inside? And it's Nissen breaking it up as Zwang gets a face full of sand for his efforts. And the Breeze come speeding back the other direction. Just a minute and change now, as we'll see if they'll just play pitch and catch and run out the clock. And no, they won't. It'll be a miscue. Looking for the cutting Gabe Dowd.
Grovic and Dowd, opponents a week ago in an epic battle between Michigan and Maryland, and now teammates on the same O-line. So a little fun wrinkle for those two.
And Zwang, feeling the effects of his trip into the long jump pit, will come out. And Luke Camire will check back in.
We don't want him to transfer sports because he's great at ultimate. So don't go to track, Ricky Zwang. You got to stay playing ultimate.
We've seen the aerial dominance on multiple occasions coming into this match. Tied for second in the league in blocks. But I agree with you, Theo. I believe he's in the right sport. As the pass, looking far side, Rush having to get creative with short time on the clock. Out of the reach of Massett Kelly. And with 44 seconds remaining, DC will look to sit on their lead of 4. A tremendous fourth quarter for the DC side. Sent far side, and it's Wodach. He'll look deep for Grovic, and he'll milk it into the end zone, up with 2 hands. And the cherry on top for the Breeze. 36 seconds to go. They're up steady. 5 sits the margin, 22-17.
We talked about the excellent fourth quarter. It starts with going up you were up 17-14, Toronto having a chance to reduce the lead to 2, being on offense, and you come out with 2 breaks right away, no turnovers on those points. That was key for DC there. As we see Wodach talking with one of the referees, Jeff Peters, not sure what they're discussing, but you're up 5 right now if you're DC. You want to escape with the win, head over to Montreal tonight and get ready for this Royale side. Going to improve their record to 4-2 here. I'm going to say that there's only 41 seconds left.
Be a colossal collapse or a rounding resurgence for the Rush. As once again, we thank everyone who's tuned in on UFA TV and on YouTube with CBC Sports. And of course, the 600 plus here in attendance from Varsity Stadium. Is there a miracle in the air? It won't start with that, as a miscue and a drop from Adam Turcotte. Schaefer takes back over, and one more for the road, and it's the Breeze. Schaefer connects with Leitner.
Largest lead too, is that right? Largest lead?
6 is the largest margin, ties it. At one point it was 21-16. 21-15 rather. A commentator, not a mathematician.
The fact you had it in your memory bank was good stuff, so we do appreciate that.
I can remember that, but I couldn't remember that the game on Sunday starts at 2. So don't give me too much credit. It does start at 2, for those wondering. 8. 6 is the margin. 2 p.m. is the next bit of action for the Toronto Rush. Boston Glory in town, as what is an even more crucial game than it already was for the Rush and their playoff hopes. It's been a dog's age since they found themselves in the postseason, as Ayad to Norris gives the fans something to go home with. Ayad connecting with Norris again. 26 seconds to go, cuts it back to 5. Max Ayad gets his first and second assists of the season. Harry Norris finding his second goal of the night.
Those two linked up previously. That was actually a break to bring the DC lead down to 14-13. That's how close that margin was. And then, of course, we've seen DC really take control since that point. Glad and Norris did connect earlier. And if this D-line's to be successful on Sunday against Boston, certainly those two will have to get involved.
Weekend continues for the DC Breeze as well. They'll travel to Montreal to play the Royale. That's tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern.
1 minute, 38 seconds.
Jacques Nissen now, he'll hold it as long as he can. Dishes off in what will be the final touch of the disc. As it's all over now, final whistle rings out. And DC 23, Toronto Rush 18 is our final score here from Varsity Stadium. As it was a great match all along, but it was an especially strong fourth quarter for the DC Breeze. They come out with back-to-back-to-back breaks, all but taking the wind out of the sails for the Rush. Not to mention the wind was a massive factor in today's match, both in a bad way and a good way at times for both sides, as the handshakes put an end to today's match. As we look ahead to the schedule, as mentioned already, DC Breeze will now head to Montreal to play the Royale 6 p.m. tomorrow, while the Rush will stay at home and host the defending league champions, Boston Glory, 2 p.m. First poll available again on UFA TV and on YouTube with CBC Sports. Theo, as we mentioned, usually this matchup is very close, especially given last year, but that start in the fourth quarter is really what sealed it for the DC Breeze.
And even in the beginning of the game, it was quite sloppy. Toronto got out to 2 breaks. They were up 2-0, held a first quarter lead of 7-4, and things really changed as DC took a 10-9 halftime lead, and from there, it was all Breeze. And so they'll head over to Montreal with some momentum. After that 18-14 loss to New York, they got to be feeling good coming to Toronto into hostile territory with school night crowd here. And so a huge game from them, and a key reason and MVP of this game was Jock Nissen. 4 assists and 2 blocks, and almost 3 yards away. You gotta give it to him. 3 yards away from 400 for Jock Nissen. Our player to watch is also our MVP of this game. And we knew that he could dial up all types of different throws. He can throw the hammer both directions, upwind and downwind. And certainly that's going to help your offensive charge here.
Jock Nissen, 4 assists and 2 blocks as well. Getting it done both ways is our player of the game for the DC Breeze, Jock Nissen. As the Breeze will now leapfrog the Toronto Rush in the East Division standings, and the road to the postseason just got a lot harder for the Rush, as they once again will contend with the defending league champions, Boston Glory, on Sunday.
And DC now pushes their record to 9-0 against Toronto since their last loss in 2019. So they've really owned the recent series against them. They're trying to keep the longest active playoff streak going, haven't missed since 2015. And this victory today should help them, as we see AJ Merriman still getting treatment. So do wish him the best of luck in recovery. He's one of the best players on this team, one of the best players in the league. So wishing the best for number 5 for DC.
AJ Merriman, 3 assists on the night. A big part of everything that the DC Breeze do. 9 points played on the offensive side, 11 on the defensive side.
You see the high five alley here at Varsity Stadium as we remind you of some can't miss games on the schedule. Growlers, Spiders on UFA TV at 6 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. And then next week, a big matchup, Friday Night Frisbee. So that's free on YouTube, folks, at 7 p.m. New York taking on defending champions Boston. And then the next night on WatchUFA.tv, Indy Alley Cats, Minnesota Windchill, key Central Division battle happening there.
And once again, our final score, DC Breeze 23. The Toronto Rush falls short with just 18. But once again, a good time was had by all. 600 strong out in support for the home side Toronto Rush here. From Adam Hunt and Theo Wan and the rest of our broadcast team here at Varsity Stadium, we thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Breeze 23, Rush 18, your final score.
mean, I think the pitch is easy. It's like you want to be a professional ultimate Frisbee player, you want to like put as much into this game as you can, then like you should come to New York.
Jeff, what's the ideal number of points for you to play in a game like tonight, knowing that you have another game coming tomorrow?
I'll play every single point. It doesn't matter how many.